Have you ever caught yourself doing something and thought, wait, when did that become me? Maybe it's a small thing, a new habit that crept in so slowly you hardly noticed. Maybe you found yourself repeating the same story, louder than usual, or speaking a little slower than before, and you wonder, why does it feel different now? It's almost as if you're becoming someone you don't quite recognize. The truth is, we all go through it, those subtle, uncomfortable shifts as we age. Little habits slip into our lives, and at first, we might laugh them off. But deep down, these changes stir something within us. They make us question, is this just aging, or is something more going on? You might find yourself talking about your health more than you used to, even when you don't want to. Or maybe your memory isn't as sharp and you feel embarrassed when you can't remember names or places. These habits can make us feel unseen, like we're becoming invisible to those we love. But here's the thing, you are not alone. These habits are much more common than you think, and they don't have to be the thing that defines this stage of life. What if, instead of feeling frustrated, you could embrace these habits with a sense of curiosity and control? What if you could look at these little shifts as powerful signals? Signals that tell you exactly where you need to adjust, learn, or simply slow down and appreciate the journey? In this video, I'm going to reveal 12 of the most uncomfortable yet inevitable habits that sneak up on all of us as we age. These might make you cringe, but understanding them is the key to taking back control of your life and doing so with grace and confidence. So, stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll see these ugly habits in a completely new light. You'll realize they're not your enemy. They're opportunities. Opportunities to embrace your age with pride, laugh instead of cringe, and live fully, no matter your stage of life. Habit 1. Repeating the same stories. Have you ever caught yourself telling the same story for what feels like the 100th time? Maybe it's that story from your youth, the one that always gets a laugh, or the tale about your first job, your first love, or that unforgettable trip. You share it because it holds meaning, because it's a part of who you are. But then something shifts. You notice the eyes of your audience starting to wander, their smiles fading just a little. And you think to yourself, wasn't this the story that used to light up the room? It's one of those habits that sneaks up on you like a gentle breeze turning into a storm. The stories that once felt like treasures in your heart start to feel like a broken record, playing over and over again. And here's the thing. It's not that the stories themselves are unimportant. Oh no, they are the essence of your life. They shaped who you are today. But when we keep telling them, something happens. We stop evolving with them, and they start to lose their spark. You're telling the story, but not living it. It can feel uncomfortable when you notice that those around you are no longer hanging on to every word. You start to wonder, am I losing my touch? Am I losing my connection with the people I care about? You might laugh it off, but inside, there's a flicker of self-doubt. What if the stories no longer hold the magic they once did? What if you're not as captivating as you used to be? The truth is, it's not you that's lost. It's just that time has passed and you have changed. The memories you hold so dearly are still yours to cherish, but the way you tell them needs to change too. When you repeat a story again and again, it becomes more about holding on to the past than embracing the present. And that's a habit we all fall into. We cling to the familiar because it feels safe. It's comforting to repeat what we know. But here's where the power lies. You don't have to lose these stories. You can let them evolve. Each time you share, try to bring a new perspective or shift the focus. Instead of telling the same tale in the same way, ask yourself, what did I learn from that experience? How has it shaped me today? And maybe, just maybe, that new angle will captivate the people around you all over again. What you can do: start by creating a space for your stories to breathe. Consider journaling or recording them for yourself, so you don't have to repeat them out loud every time. And when you feel the urge to share, ask yourself, is this the best time for this story? If you catch yourself sharing it for the 10th time, pause. Let the memory sit with you for a moment, and then decide, what's new about this memory today? Sometimes the most powerful thing isn't telling the story. It's letting it grow with you. And when you do share, make it about the moment, not just the past. Habit 2. Speaking too loud. Have you noticed that your voice seems to carry a little farther than it used to? Maybe it's that soft chuckle you make during a conversation, or the way you answer a question that seems to fill the entire room. Suddenly, it's as if every word you speak reverberates louder than intended, and you can't figure out why. At first, you tell yourself it's just the excitement of the moment, or maybe the room's a bit quieter than usual. But deep down, a small voice whispers, is my hearing slipping? As we get older, our bodies don't quite work like they used to, and our ears, like every other part of us, begin to change. When hearing becomes less sharp, our bodies compensate in strange ways. And for many of us, that means speaking louder, almost as if we're trying to make sure we're heard. At first, you might not even notice the difference, but others do. You might start noticing the awkward glances, or people politely asking you to lower your voice. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're trying to have a normal conversation. But here's the thing. This habit isn't about you being too loud or too much. It's about the natural changes that come with aging, and it's more common than you think. Your voice has always been your tool of connection, your way to share your thoughts, your heart, your laughter. So when it seems like it's not quite working the same way anymore, it can feel frustrating, like your way of being heard is slowly slipping away. And here's what's interesting. People may dismiss this habit, thinking it's just a matter of getting older or losing touch. But the truth is, it's more than that. This habit can quietly chip away at your confidence. You may begin to feel like you're becoming invisible, like your voice is something to be hushed rather than embraced. But don't let this change silence your presence. You can reclaim your voice just in a way that feels right for you. What you can do: start by getting your hearing checked. It may seem simple, but many people don't realize how much their hearing has declined until it's pointed out. If hearing aids are an option, they can make a huge difference, not just for your voice, but for the way you interact with the world. Also, practice awareness of your volume when speaking. It's okay to ask loved ones for gentle reminders. Instead of feeling defeated, see this as an opportunity to take control of your communication in a new way. And remember, just because you speak a little louder doesn't mean you're not being heard. It might just mean that you're learning how to speak with a little more intention. Habit 3. Complaining about health. You've probably caught yourself saying it more often lately. My back hurts. My knees are stiff. I just don't have the energy I used to. It seems harmless at first, right? Just a way of talking about your day, venting a little to get it off your chest. But then you notice something. Those words start creeping into every conversation. Your health, your aches, your tiredness, it's always the focal point. And when you try to explain it, you hear the same responses. Oh, I get it. I know. We're all getting older. But something in their tone feels different now. They've heard it before. And maybe, just maybe, you've heard it too. It's not that you don't have real reasons to complain. Health issues are part of life as we age, and they can feel overwhelming. Every day presents a new ache or a new obstacle. But here's where the trap lies. When you let this habit become the lens through which you view your life, it begins to shape everything around you. It feels as though your body is failing you, and you start to feel like you're fading away, not just physically, but emotionally. What's hard to admit is this. When we focus too much on our discomforts, our world begins to shrink. The conversations become about what we can't do, not what we can. And it's easy to dismiss this as just getting old. But this habit, it robs you of the joy that's still available to you, even in the midst of pain. You might be wondering, is it even possible to stop complaining when my body just doesn't cooperate anymore? The answer is yes, it can be possible. This isn't about ignoring your pain or pretending it's not there. It's about shifting the way you talk about it, both to others and to yourself. What you can do, begin by acknowledging your pain without letting it become your entire identity. It's okay to say, yes, my knees hurt today, but I'm going to take a walk anyway. Frame your challenges as something you are working with, not working against. Try to balance your conversations by also talking about the things that bring you joy, the small victories you've had today, or even the people that make you feel grateful. Instead of letting your health be the headline of every story, let it become just one part of the greater narrative of your life. It might not happen overnight, but the more you practice this shift, the more your mind and body will begin to follow. Reclaiming your focus means reclaiming your life. Habit 4. Holding on to old beliefs. Have you ever caught yourself thinking things were better back then? Maybe it's a belief about family values, societal norms, or just the way things used to be done. These beliefs have been a part of you for years, decades even, and they helped shape the person you are today. But as the world changes, you might find it harder to reconcile your long-held views with the reality around you. Maybe your children or grandchildren challenge your beliefs, and you feel the weight of their questions. But deep down, you don't know how to let go of what's always felt so familiar. It's not easy to change. In fact, sometimes it feels impossible. The things we believe in are more than just opinions. They're the foundation of how we understand the world. So when those beliefs are questioned, it can feel like a piece of who you are is being questioned too. And that's uncomfortable. The truth is, it's not just a matter of being old-fashioned. It's about feeling like your entire worldview is suddenly out of step with the world you spent your life living in. But here's the thing. Holding on too tightly to those beliefs can limit your growth. You might find yourself feeling frustrated, angry, or isolated when others don't see things the way you do. You might even feel that you're losing touch with those you love, like the world is passing you by. And the more you hold on, the more you risk becoming stuck in a past that no longer serves you. It's easy to dismiss this as just how it is when you get older, but this habit isn't just about age, it's about the unwillingness to see that the world, like you, is always changing. And when you don't change with it, you create a wall between yourself and the future. What you can do. The first step is awareness. Recognize the beliefs that you're holding on to and ask yourself, why is this belief so important to me? Sometimes the beliefs we hold aren't about truth, they're about comfort. Next, be open to learning. You don't have to abandon your core values, but allow them to evolve. Watch how others live, hear their stories, and listen without judgment. You might find that adapting to the world doesn't mean abandoning what you know. It means expanding the space you hold for new ideas. This doesn't mean giving up your principles. It means broadening your perspective and embracing the changes that come with them. Habit 5. Speaking without thinking. Have you ever said something and immediately thought, did I really just say that? It's almost like the words came tumbling out without you even having time to process them, and as soon as they left your mouth, you regretted them. Maybe it was a comment that sounded harsher than you intended, or a joke that wasn't funny to someone else. You catch their reaction, and suddenly you feel a wave of embarrassment. But before you can even apologize, it's already too late. This habit might feel like it's coming from nowhere, but it's not uncommon as we get older. We've lived through so many years of conversations, of words flowing easily, that we start to feel like we don't have to filter ourselves as much anymore. We become comfortable with our relationships, and sometimes that comfort translates into forgetting to pause before speaking. What's tough is that, while it's natural to be more open as we get older, this habit can create emotional distance between you and the people you care about. When we speak without thinking, it's easy to accidentally hurt someone's feelings, or worse, push them away with a careless remark. You might notice that over time, people seem a little more distant, or they may start giving you subtle hints that what you said didn't land well, and that can feel like a gut punch. You may wonder, did I really just mess up again? But here's something you might not realize. This habit isn't about a lack of control. It's about forgetting that the impact of our words is just as important as their intention. The need to speak freely and be heard is natural, but it's essential to remember that people can only hear our hearts when we let our words come from a place of understanding, not impulsivity. What you can do. Start practicing the pause before speaking. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Before you speak, take a breath and consider how your words might affect those around you. Ask yourself, is this the best way to express what I'm feeling? It's also helpful to remind yourself that you don't need to share everything on your mind right away. Sometimes, holding back gives you the time you need to reflect and decide how to approach the situation more thoughtfully. You might also want to engage in mindfulness exercises to become more aware of your thoughts before they become words. It's a way of reclaiming your voice, letting your words reflect not just your thoughts, but the depth of your understanding and respect for the people around you. Habit 6. Forgetting appointments and dates. Have you ever found yourself scrambling to remember an appointment or an important date only to realize you completely forgot? Maybe it was your doctor's appointment, a friend's birthday, or a family gathering you are looking forward to. At first, it feels like just a slip-up, a momentary lapse. But then, it starts happening more often, and the shame begins to creep in. You might even feel embarrassed to tell others, "I forgot." It becomes a silent frustration, one that makes you feel like your mind isn't quite working the way it used to. Forgetting appointments or dates might seem like a small issue, but over time, it can start to chip away at your confidence. You begin to wonder, am I losing control? Am I not as sharp as I once was? What you may not realize is that it's a common part of aging. The brain naturally slows down a bit as we get older, and certain mental processes, like recalling appointments or important events, may take a little longer than they used to. The challenge, though, is when these forgetful moments start to pile up. You feel like you're letting people down, or worse, you feel like you're becoming unreliable. The more you focus on your forgetfulness, the more it becomes a part of your identity. Maybe I'm just getting old, you think. And that thought, while understandable, can leave you feeling disconnected, like you're losing touch with the world around you. But here's the good news. Forgetfulness doesn't have to define you. It's a habit, yes, but it's also a signal that your mind needs a little more support and structure. Instead of resigning yourself to it, you can take small, positive steps to regain control and help your mind stay sharp. Your age doesn't diminish your ability to adapt and thrive. It simply means it's time to adjust the way you work with your mind. What you can do. Start using tools to help you stay organized. The simple act of writing things down, whether in a planner, on a whiteboard, or in a digital calendar, can make a world of difference. Set up reminders on your phone or ask a family member to gently nudge you about upcoming events. Creating these external supports will give you the confidence to stay on top of things without feeling like you're constantly battling forgetfulness. Another tip is to get into the habit of reviewing your calendar each morning or evening. This simple ritual will ground you in the day ahead and help your mind stay organized. And don't be afraid to admit when you've forgotten something. Honesty can relieve the burden and make it easier to accept that it's okay to need a little extra help sometimes. Reflection. Forgetfulness isn't a weakness. It's simply a nudge to approach life with more